Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Young here, and today I'm back in a Fortnite video. And today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys whether I think that exponential settings or if linear settings are going to be your best bet here in Season 5. I want to explain the pros and cons of linear and also exponential and give my opinion on which I think is better. So if you guys are choosing between either or, definitely stay tuned to the video because you guys will find this video to be very helpful. And real quick, before we get into the video, up on the screen I have the V-Buck giveaway winner of this week. I give away 2,000 V-Bucks every single Friday. So if you guys would like to participate in the next giveaway and win some free V-Bucks, all you guys have to do is to drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you guys get notified for every single new upload and when I announce the winners every Friday. And lastly, make sure you guys put down your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account down in the comment section below, and you guys will be automatically entered into the giveaway. And lastly, if you guys like to support me in the item shop, all you guys have to do, go down to the bottom right, hit on support a creator, type in my creator code, which is Young Humor, and you guys will have me added and supported as a creator in the item shop. And alright guys, let's go right to the video. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the pros and cons of being on exponential settings and also being on linear settings, so you guys can choose which one you think is the best. And the first thing I want to talk about is when it comes to the different settings, I think exponential and linear are both great settings. It just comes down to the type of player and the play style that you have is going to be determined on if you guys should be playing on linear or exponential. So first, I want to talk about exponential settings because a lot of people have been switching to this, especially pro players. Now, one of the obvious benefits of exponential is you're going to have a slower analog stick movement when you are, say, aiming down your sights from range. If you're moving your crosshair over slightly, those small analog stick adjustments, it's going to be significantly easier than if you play on linear settings. Because if you wanted to do the same on linear, you would have to either raise your look dampening time up a lot, or you would have to have a really low ADS sensitivity, which would make it almost impossible to aim down your sights at close range and be effective. So when it comes to exponential, that is one of the biggest advantages that you have. And when it comes to flick shots, this is interesting. I feel like I was able to flick shot pretty consistently, but of course I'm just flick shotting against bots. It's not like it's real time against real players. But from my experience on exponential, it is a little bit more difficult than linear settings. So I would say that's a drawback. I would say flick shots are going to be a little bit more difficult, and same with editing. I think you can edit just fine on exponential, which you'll see here. I'm able to free build. Like, you can flick shot and you can edit just fine on exponential, but it's not going to be as good as linear because linear is a lot more smooth. So if you're looking to be a free builder, linear is probably going to be your best bet. So when you're on exponential, that is something you have to keep in mind, is because with the input curve, it's going to be a little bit slower when you're making small analog stick adjustments. But if you move your analog stick all the way to the left or to the right, you're going to have a little bit of inconsistency because the speed, it's going to go faster the more you look over to the left or right. So when you're going for edits, if you're going for builds, or if you're just aiming as far as flick shots, it's not going to be as consistent as, say, linear settings, just because of the input curve. You're going to have a little bit of speed up when you are looking from left to right. So that is just something to consider as well with exponential. But I would say if you want to switch to exponential and play on it, I would say the type of players that play on this are either the type of player that happens to be a little bit more passive. So say if you play squads and you're the type of player who likes to slay out a little bit more with your assault rifle, maybe you like to stick a little bit back. You're not necessarily the biggest W key type of player. You can when it's necessary, but you're the type of player who just tends to sit a little bit further back as far as when you're with your team. If that's the type of player you are, then I think exponential is going to be a great fit. And if you guys are a competitive player, because when you are in competitive, you're going to be sitting in a lot of boxes, and being able to be accurate with your assault rifle from range can be a huge benefit to you. So if you fall into one of those two categories of players, I think that exponential settings will work really great and will be a big advantage and will make you the best player that you can be. Now, switching over to linear settings, I'm going to show you guys the pros and cons of playing on linear. The pro being, I feel like when it comes to close range and also mid-range, linear is probably going to be your best bet because it's really fast, it's really smooth, And also, most importantly, it's very consistent, meaning that when you look left to right, it's going to be the same speed no matter what, which is really important if you're the type of player who likes to go for flick shots, because it's going to be a consistent 100% of the time. So once you get your muscle memory down of the sensitivity that you like, it just comes down to hitting your shot. It's not going to throw you off by having a little bit of slow up or slow down when it comes to looking really far left to right. And one of the most obvious pros is going to be building and editing. If you look at all the people who do, say, a lot of crazy builds and edits, they're all going to be on linear settings, because if you want to be able to build smooth or be able to build very fast, linear is going to be your best bet, hands down. You can be very fast and you can be smooth on exponential, but linear is going to be 10 times easier to do so, just based on the way the input feels. It's really smooth. It's easy to make those sort of adjustments that you need to on your edits. So that is going to be the biggest pro as far as linear settings. So if you're the type of player who does a bunch of montages, say you make YouTube videos, you do montages, you like to work on your free builds, if you're the type of player who likes to W key, I think those players are going to be best suited for linear settings, because it's really smooth, it's really quick, and very consistent. So you're going to have a lot of advantages in those categories. As I mentioned, free building, editing, and also W keying, I think, are the best for linear. So if you fall into that category, I would recommend having these settings on. So those are just my personal preference as far as when it comes to linear and exponential settings. I think you can be great on both sensitivities, and you can do everything. Like, you can be a really great free builder on exponential settings, but what I'm saying is on linear, it's going to be a little bit easier, and vice versa. It's a lot easier to hit long range AR shots on exponential settings, but you can absolutely do it on linear. And it's going to help out, a little trick tip as well. If you do play on linear settings, you might want to adjust your look dampening time. If you end up doing that, it's going to make it just a little bit easier to hit longer range shots. So it gives you a little bit more of an exponential feel, but not to the point where it feels really sluggish or anything like that. So that's something to keep in mind that could actually really help you out. And as I mentioned before, when it came to the exponential settings, I think it's really great for a lot of people who play competitive, pro players, and also the type of player who likes to play a little bit more supportive role and, say, duos or squads with your teammates. If you tend to sit back a little bit more, not the overly rush W key type player, if you're the type of player who sits back a little bit more and plays a more support role with an AR and kind of, I don't know, maybe even just sprays and prays from the back, I think that exponential settings is going to be your best bet. You're going to see the greatest return on those settings, because as I mentioned, you can do both things very well on linear and exponential, but you're going to have a little bit more pluses and negatives depending on which settings that you go for. So if you're that type of player, then I would recommend being on exponential settings. And just to recap, linear settings, linear is really great for the type of person who likes to really work on their they like to learn new high ground retakes, free builds, they really want to optimize that. Or if they're the type of player who tends to be a lot more aggressive and W keys, I think linear is going to be your best bet, just because of how consistent linear feels. Just the input of the analog sticks when you move on linear, it's going to be a lot smoother and a lot quicker in close range situations. So that's why you would want to be on linear settings if you're the type of player who plays really, really aggressive. People who like to say pub stomp, which I don't even know pub stomp is still a thing with skill-based matchmaking, but if you like to play a lot of pubs and play a little bit more on the aggressive side, or if you are into montages and things like that, you probably want to be on linear settings. So that's going to be my conclusion on which I think is better, which one you guys should use as far as linear settings and as well exponential settings. I didn't have any sensitivities for you guys in this video. I guess I have the linear settings that I have, but I'm going to be uploading a ton of linear and also exponential settings coming up. So make sure you guys do hit that subscribe button so you guys can get notified and you guys can see when I upload new best settings for linear and as well exponential settings. And with that being said, that's wrap it for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you found this video very helpful, make sure you guys do drop a like. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Hit the notification bell so you guys will get notified for every single new upload. And as well, I do live stream every day on the channel at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you guys do hit that notification bell so you guys do not miss out. And lastly, I am starting to post a little bit more on Instagram. Make sure you guys do follow me. It's just Young Humor. Super easy to find me, same as the name, Young Humor on Instagram. Definitely follow me if you guys have Instagram. I'm going to be posting a lot more on there as of very soon, so you definitely want to follow me so you guys don't miss out on that type of content. But with that being said, I really appreciate you guys watching the video, and alright guys, I'll see you next video.